Hunter, you're not live yet. You're not live yet. Sorry about that. I had to. You'll be live in about 30 seconds. Okay, you guys are live.
Wonderful. Hello, everyone. My name is Hunter Smith with MetaStock, and today we are doing our international market roundup. Today is November 11th, depending on where you are in the world. I hope everyone is doing very, very well and keeping safe out there. Before we get to our guest speaker, I need to cover the legal stuff. This demonstration is designed to instruct you on using MetaStock and accompanying software plugins. It's not a recommendation to buy or sell, but rather guidelines to interpreting and using these specific indicators and features within the software. The information, software, and techniques presented today should only be used by investors who are aware of the risk inherent in trading. MetaStock shall have no liability for any investment decisions based on the use of our software, any trading strategies, or information provided with the company. Yay! Legal stuff is out of the way. On to the roundup. Today we have Mr. Tim Straiton. Tim, how are you this evening where you are?
Well, I'm fine. It's here. It's 10:30 at night on the 13th of November. Sorry, isn't it? Friday the 13th.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I put the wrong date on. It's fine.
No,
I don't know what day it is.
No, it's the 13th here in Switzerland.
It is here too, believe it or not. Weird how that works. Well,
okay.
That's my one mistake per webinar that I'm allowed.
That's all right.
One mistake.
Okay.
So we've had some crazy markets this week. Wonder why nothing big was happening here in the States whatsoever over the course of the last couple of weeks. I don't know what was in the news. Was there something that happened in the news that was a big deal? So let me go ahead and turn the presenter back, let's see, over to you. So it should, and I do see, looks like perfect. I see some charts. That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I suppose I better start off with the S&P, if I can find it. There we are. Right. Of course, this is S&P. It's just gradually climbed to the top again, to the top right-hand corner of the chart. It's made a new weekly high. What is also interesting, let's get. I can see the chart as well. What is interesting is the distance from the 200-day moving average is pretty high, but it's not extreme. We're about 12.5% above the 200-day moving average. We're pretty close to hanging to the upper Bollinger Band, so it looks as though this could continue for a while. So it looks as though there's more upside ahead, but not a fantastic, powerful move. But it seems to be drifting gradually upwards without any extremes. And apart from the index, there were a few things in the individual stocks which came to my attention. The biotech with the discovery of this new drug, which should be 90% effective. And that I'd like to look quickly at some of these shares, which let's have a look.
Should be.
This is BioNTech. This is the company. It's actually a German company which is working together with Pfizer to develop this drug, which seems to be a great success. It should be a great success. But if you look here, what's actually been going on, this stock has jumped above the Bollinger Band recently and is now coming in. So I would say, although it looks really good for the moment, it seems quite dangerous to me to get into this stock at the current time. Interesting to say, the CEO of Pfizer sold the majority of his shares when this good news came out. So it doesn't bode well for the future of this stock. Right now, I would be very careful with it. Interesting, if you go back to earlier this year, we had with Gilead the similar hype. If you remember, during May, when we were talking about Remdesivir, the price of this stock was up around $85. And now look where we are now. So just a warning sign with these biotech shares. They can be, you have to be very careful.
Yeah, that's a really interesting one. And Pfizer is, you know, it pretty much mirrored that the other biotech pharma that you just looked at, as far as, you know, being up and above the Bollinger Bands. It's weird because you come out with news that you have a drug that is 90% effective. You have a massive gap up, but it's really come down significantly since then. That's strange if you think about it just from the news perspective. I feel like this stock should be skyrocketing.
Exactly. Yeah, well, it actually has. I mean, if you go back, let's say to September, we were down at about about $54. So it's actually doubled in price, which is actually not bad.
That's pretty good, yeah.
When you think of it, so it's reasonable to suggest that the party's over for now. You know, it's probably buy the rumor, sell the fact, which we had with Gilead also in May this year when we were up at $85. So I would be extremely careful. Those who have this stock, I would place a stop on it pretty close because it don't look good to me.
Well, that makes sense. What else has stood out to you?
What else? Yeah, okay. There's quite a few things actually. The next thing, I'm going over to the currencies quickly to have a look at the euro dollar, because this is a monthly chart going back to 2000. So it's a long time. If you look, this trend line has been hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've just broken out the 6th time, and we've broken above this line. So for me, although we had a lot of discussions about the oil, a lot of people, and not my opinion, that it looks as though the oil is going to break to the upside. Over the last 3 or 4 years, the downside has been pretty limited. If you see here, the lowest point we were 103.50, and since then it has really held the level, and it could be now that we break up pretty violently to the upside.
Is there a confirmation to this that you look for before actually entering the trade? Are you looking for a close above that trend line, or?
Well, actually, I have no position in this. It's just an observation, because the trade action or the market action at the moment is pretty limited. There's not a great deal of movement around, but it looks to me as if the downside is sort of vanishing. So there's potential for an upside for me, although you can't see much now. But I would imagine that it's more likely it goes up than down. Quite honestly, you know. Another one I think one has to look at when looking at currencies is the Chinese yuan. This is the dollar against the Chinese yuan, and you look since June, where we were up about 710. It's been continually in a pretty strong so strong for the yen, weak for the dollar. We're now about 5%, 5% under the 200-day moving average on this. So it looks to me that the dollar is not also against the Swiss franc. The dollar looks it's hanging in there, but it doesn't look as though it's got any upside potential to me. I don't know what you think about that, Hunter, but
yeah, no, I agree. It's there's no it doesn't look like it's caught any traction going the other way. It's there's no you know, I never want to force a trade, and looking at a long position in the yen right now would be definitely forcing a long trade. You know, that's forcing a position, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And it seems generally, when I look at all markets, precious metals, currencies, stocks, people want to get out of currencies. Look at this is the Bitcoin. This is a Bitcoin against the dollar. This is amazing bull market right now against everything. We're now 35% above the 200-day moving average. And it seems to me, with this money printing, people are looking for ways to get out of currencies. We see it also in Switzerland. People are building blocks of flats everywhere here. It's like becoming a concrete jungle. Although the demand for property has weakened, a lot of people out of work, people having problems paying their rent and so forth. But the people who've got money, they can't keep it at the bank because they're paying negative interest. They're looking for ways of investing, and this is we're getting an overweight in property here. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's interesting. It's you know, other investments outside of currencies. U.S. is a little bit different. We don't trade a lot of forex over here, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. But that's very interesting that people are building houses as long-term investments. That's
yeah, but they're all there's more and more empty. This is the stupid thing about it. They're building these properties everywhere, but the amount of empty properties in this country is rising all the time. So something's going to give. Something's going to give.
You would think.
I would think, and a friend of mine, he's just been wanting to sell a flat he bought 20 years ago. No one's interested. No one's interested. So the market is really stagnant here in property, especially office buildings. So that's a disaster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, commercial real estate is definitely taking a hit throughout, you know, all of this. Yeah. It'll be interesting. We've talked about it a couple of times, I believe, but it'll be interesting to see where commercial real estate goes after, you know, all this time of companies finding out that they don't necessarily have to have a space to you know, for employees to work. Everybody's telecommuting right now anyway, working from home. So that's very interesting.
And when I was going through, I've just done a scan of the best performers in the S&P this week, and something which hit me, which really surprised me, was General Motors. General Motors and Ford, they were amongst the big winners this week. This is a chart of General Motors going back a couple of years, and you can see from here we've broken out to the upside. It's quite amazing, really, when you think. Also, Ford Ford was down to $3.80 at one time, and I think we're now about $8.50. Let's just have a look.
Yeah, it's highlighted right there.
automotive company, yeah, right. Yeah. This is also, it's been neglected for a long, long time, but it seems to be, there's come life into this company. Where are we?
Yeah, it's interesting. I actually took a position in Ford about a month ago, and
Okay.
I've been very, very pleasantly surprised, but it has been trending up for, I don't know, since May, right around that area. It's been trending up since May.
Well, it's actually, if you look at this chart, this is a monthly chart. Okay, so you're right. It's been going up since yeah, end of April, continually. This is a monthly chart, but every bar has been bullish, and it seems now it's breaking again to the upside. So there's probably more potential in there, and you can see the volume. The volume has been especially high recently.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder how those automotive, I mean, so far it seems that automotive companies have been positively affected within reason, you know, by the whole COVID mess. It'll be interesting once the turn of the year, you know, happens. It'll be interesting how they react.
Yeah, it's crazy. Of course, I'd like to now have a look at precious metals, because there are one or two stocks here which have caught my eye as well. One of the best performers was Freeport-McMoRan. I've got him here somewhere.
What's the symbol for it?
FCX. FCX. Here we go. Yeah.
Also, while you're doing that, for those of you watching in the audience, if you have questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. If you have symbols you want us to look at, feel free to throw those in the chat as well. That's what we're here to do.
Right. Just make a clean chart. This is amazing. This is been trending up for a long time.
Wow.
It's been on my favorites list for a long, long time. Since April, it's been continuously going up. And okay, we've had a bit of a spike here. Spike here, but let's have a look. But still, it's still clinging to the upper, more or less to the upper band. It's spiked here a little bit. If I make a candlestick chart, it has been a bit more apparent. But the general trend, I expect there we probably have a reaction down, but the overall trend is incredible.
Yeah, that's a very strong trend. Now, as the educator that you are, let's pretend for a second that I look at this stock and I say, well, yeah, I'd like to take a position in this. Since it's been trending for so long, do I try to wait for a pullback, maybe to the middle Bollinger Band, or how would you go about possibly taking a long position, or would you in this stock at this point?
Well, yeah, I would say when you see this sort of thing, it's obviously a panic to the upside, and I would expect probably somewhere around the $18. I would be patient with this one. Be patient with this, because if you look at the gold market itself, it's been very choppy. We've been up to 1950 last week. We've been down to 1860, and it looks as though we're going to, in gold, we're in for a period of long consolidation, to me. So I think you can afford to wait for an interesting level. But the trend is up, and it's a question. We've had a number of pullbacks. If you look here, around here. So if we do get to a pullback around $17, I would say that's good. The chances are pretty good because you have a very strong momentum on the upside.
Wonderful.
It's crazy, isn't it? I've got another one. I've got 3 more in here anyway. I've got another silver stock which has been performing extremely well. That's wait a minute. Silver Core, SVM. Wait a minute, let's have a look. This is actually one of the best performing silver mines out of quite a few I look at. But if you see here, we've been retracing somewhat.
It's quite a bit of sideways movement.
It's a bit of a sideways movement. So although the general trend is up, if you look at the 200-day moving average, that's obviously pretty if I superimpose that, we're pretty far away. The trend is obviously up here. So I would expect a little bit more basing out, perhaps we get back to 650, but I think this stock has also got potential. But I think it's not the time to rush straight in and buy it. It's probably, you have to be choosy. If we can get down to the lower Bollinger Band here, that's 650 or something like that, or lower, it's probably a trade.
Okay.
Yeah.
We do have 1 or 2 suggestions from the crowd.
Okay.
So just let me know when you want those.
Yeah, well, actually, that's more or less what I was looking at today. So if you've got any questions, Woody, be happy to answer.
Let's see. So the first symbol, we joke around about this because every single week, our marketing guy, Greg, wants to know about Royal Caribbean because he.
Oh, okay.
I think he wants, I think he got in that position a little while back, and
it's no joke.
So RCL.
It's no joke.
What? I apologize.
It's very serious.
Here's my serious face. He put money in RCL a while back.
Okay.
I do have an open position. Full disclosure.
Okay. Well, let's have a look. Let's have a look. Okay. All right. Well, what can I say? It seems as if it's hanging in there. I mean, we've had disastrous move down in March, but actually since then, it seems to have held its way. And if I look here, it's above its 200-day moving average. If I look on the bar strength, it's probably going to come down a bit now. If you see here, this indicator I have is bar strength. What it does is it measures the height of each bar over 9 periods. So if you've got it measures the strength of each bars and adds them all up. Okay, so we've been in a bullish trend up to now. It's just rolling over a bit, so probably we're going to have some more downside. Perhaps it's worthwhile taking a bit of profit or waiting for a lower level.
Is that the elasticity?
No. This is not the elasticity. I can put that on afterwards. This is a new indicator I developed actually last week. It just measures the strength of each the 9 consecutive bars opening and closing. So if the opening is above the close, that's a bearish bar, and it measures the distance of that bar, the difference between the opening and closing, and adds them up over nine periods, consecutive 9 periods. So it gives you a sort of short-term trend, and it's has very little lag.
Well, thank you, Timothy. I'll get back to the control panels and get out of your way.
Okay, right. Okay, so yeah, it looks as though the worst is over on this stock.
Hopefully, it looks like that little bump.
Yes.
That little bump is very similar to what the Pfizer stock is doing right now. So my assumption is, the correlation that people are drawing is that, the end of the non-travel era is hopefully maybe coming to an end relatively soon. So
it could be. It could be.
That could be a stock to watch.
Yeah, and the other thing, while we're on it, we had a high up here, a high that was back in June, at 75. So we're pretty close to that. Well, we've been up to 78. We're close to 75.43. We had a close here of 75. So it's actually, we've had a new high close. So it's probably not so bad. I would hang in there, Greg.
Next one we have on the list is from Trading Profitably, and Cigar suggests Kohl's, which is KSS.
Okay. Well, that's amazing, because that's a similar picture to the Royal Caribbean when you look at it. Probably not so bullish, but it's also hanging in there. We're just slightly above the 200-day moving average. It's really similar to Greg's stock.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder. Kohl's is, I don't know if you have Kohl's in Switzerland. It's a retail department store, basically. Furniture, clothes, different things like that. So,
yeah, no, I don't know them. They're not. I don't think they're in Switzerland.
No? So yeah, that's. What are you thinking about a possible breakout here?
It looks as if it's holding up, but it lacks real power, because we've had attempted breaks just here recently, and also back here in June, but it fell away. It fell back. So it has had constant attempts, but it's always hit the upper band and broken down again. So it seems to me, yeah, it seems to be rather sideways. I mean, there's not much going on here, although it seemed to have recovered this dramatic loss we had back here in March, where it hit everything. But up to now, there's a lot more. There's many more stocks which are making fantastic performance. So this is actually, I would have I wouldn't reckon with a breakout unless there's some fundamental news which had that. You've had, look here, you've had a pin bar here, which is actually a very bearish sign. So I would suggest it'll probably carry on in this range between 19 and 26, something like that. I would imagine.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next one we have is Mesa, MESA.O.
That's amazing. This is similar. It's a similar picture.
Mm-hmm.
It's a similar picture. Only this is a little bit more positive because we've broken out of this Bollinger Band, but it's clinging to the upper side. So we're above the 200-day moving average here, 9% above. So this looks a little bit better than the others. Although we have yet to hit the previous high we had back in June, it looks constructive.
Okay. Yeah, those and they're different well, say they're different. Mesa Air Group. I don't know if they're transport or travel. I don't know, but it's well, all the charts seem to have the. They all do look very much alike, so that's interesting.
They do, yes, it's
different industries as well.
Yeah.
Next one we have here is car.k, so that's CARR.K.
Yeah, well, that's much more bullish. We've had an exaggeration above, and now it's calmed down a bit, but it's a bullish trend. It looks good. Although I don't have much historical data on this. This is not going.
Yeah, it looks like this is a fairly new stock.
It looks like,
Mhm.
but it's the trend is up. You can see on this graph here, most of the action has been to the upside. It's been very few corrections here, there, here, but it looks good.
Okay.
It looks good.
Last one, let's see. Well, I don't know if last one. Let's, guys, if you have more, just let us know. I would like to take a little bit of a closer look at Pfizer. So if you could pull up Pfizer again, that'd be great.
That's PFI, huh? PFE.
PFE, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's yeah, just PFE. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. What should I say to this?
We've gotten so many questions about Pfizer, and it's on everyone's mind, especially right now. I thought that maybe it might be appropriate to do a little bit more in-depth analysis on the actual technicals, and see if this is something that people should really wait to invest into. People shouldn't look at it at all, or if we should be trying to jump on the wagon of the medicine that's going to save the world.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. Well, I think in that case, it's good to take a bit of a longer term view on this, because if I go to the monthly, see where this stock has been going. This is 1980.
Wow.
So we've had the high was back in 1999, was around $50. We've been down in 2008. We've been down to 12, and now we're 38.62. To me, it looks extremely unclear and volatile now. And bearing in mind what I just said about Gilead, you know, when the hype, we're talking about biotech as well. It's difficult because common sense would say if this is a drug which is going to save the world, you would expect this to rocket, to skyrocket. But up to now, it's been very volatile. I mean, look in the last, I go a bit closer in, I go on the weekly charts. This year we've been down to $27. We've been up to 42. Been massive moves. This, to me, shows there's been a lot of uncertainty up to now. But on the other hand, if I just draw this line here, and let's put a candle. It seems to me that it could stabilize soon, although it's been a lot of volatility. We've had massive moves down. Of course, everything went down. This was in March, when the market anyway was, so I would exclude that. But since then, if you knock that out, we've had a correction down, but it could be that we could start a new gradual up move. So I wouldn't be surprised if this stock would start to base out here. Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, in the last, pardon me, since March, we have had higher lows and higher highs, so it could be indicative of a turnaround, but you know, again, overall that trend line is down. So that's why I say I'm really curious to see what it does next.
Well, yeah, actually, if you look at this, the market activity going back to the beginning of this, it's been down. We've had lower highs, lower lows since here we had in March, but since then we've actually had higher lows and higher highs. So, and we've now broken this down, this negative trend. So to me, it doesn't look bad. I would have said this is worth looking at closer. And if we come again down to the 33 or so, I think it's probably, or 35. It's probably a buy. To me, it doesn't look so bad.
It doesn't.
It doesn't look.
You know, it does look like there's, you know, we're looking at an all-time high for Pfizer, I believe, around $43, and that was back in 2019.
2019, yeah.
Yeah, and overall,
46.
since there was a big dip, but you know, I'm curious to see if we come close to that all-time high. You know, whether or not it just runs away with it. I guess with Pfizer, a lot of it is going to depend on news and
probably, yeah.
Promises come into fruition.
Yeah, because it's a completely different situation now. As you say, with the news, if good news comes out, these prices could be history. $50 could be much higher. It depends on if this is going to be a success, if they can use it, and if it's going to help them going forward for the next few years. Of course, so if you see the market action and if you look at Gilead, what happened there? And I mean, if we go back to June, July this year, all the hype was for Remdesivir, and the price was up to $85, and then we're now 60. So there is good cause to be careful here, I think.
Yeah, this is one that's not going to be as much based on technicals. I think you can make a case kind of for either side. I'm a little bit more bullish on it, but I think that this seems to be a stock that you need to be kind of careful with, because it's going to be a little bit, I feel like the news is going to have a little bit more influence on the direction this stock goes than anything else.
Yeah, and the fact that the CEO dumped the majority of his shares last week, he probably knows more than everyone else.
It's true. Yeah, I did not know that, so that's very good to know. Now, all of you out in YouTube land know as well. Let's see here. Let's see if we can get one more in here. We will do run.o, so run.o.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's had a good run up, and now it looks as though it's looks a bit negative. Although we're still pretty high above the 200-day moving average. What it looks like to me, we could break the lower Bollinger Band. So we're 40% above the 200-day moving average. That's massive. I mean, we've been up to 66% above the 200-day moving average. So it's had a wonderful run. And you see the exhaustion of this we had back in October. You can see how steeply it ran up here, almost panic buying. And now we've come back to reality, probably more or less. So here the Bollinger Bands are pretty getting narrow. I would suggest we're probably going to have more of a consolidation. It would seem to me.
That makes sense. I would agree. Yeah, definitely.
So it just shows you when the market does stretch higher away from the moving averages, it's good to take profit, especially when you see the prices edge below the upper Bollinger Band. This is the first sign of weakness which you had here, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. And there was news around that area. If memory serves, this was either a merger or they purchased Vivint Solar around that area, and the stock has just kind of dipped since. So I don't know if it was Vivint Solar before that, and then it changed once they were purchased. I don't really remember, but an interesting stock. Now, we actually do have one more, SPWR. SPWR. Dotto will suffice.
Dotto, is it? Sorry.
No worries.
SPW. R.
R. Yeah.
Dotto.
Correct.
Yeah. Also a very good bullish move. We've had another breakout here to the upside. This looks also like consolidation on a high level. This has been an incredible performer because we've had 58% above the 200-day moving average. This is massive, massive move. When you see we were down here in April, $3.20. Now at almost $19. It's been a massive move. If you look on the lower chart here on this bar strength, it shows here that we're consolidating. It's still bullish. It's still bullish. So it looks to me now as we come under the upper Bollinger Band here, this is probably also consolidation. If you look here, what we had here, a similar thing for quite a long time, until the Bollinger Bands got very close and we had a breakout. But to me, it looks we're going to enter probably a sideways market in the next weeks.
Yeah, and this is an interesting chart. If you scroll out just a little bit, this thing, this steps up quite literally. You know, it steps up a little bit, and then there's consolidation, steps up again, consolidation, pretty much starting in, what is that, July 6th, right around that area, and then steps up much larger in September, and then consolidation, and then an even bigger move. So that looks like a really good performing stock, and since
really
we're moving into a little bit more of a consolidation time, that's something that, you know, consolidation times often when you have a stock like this are a very, very good time to get in instead of a stock that's just cruising straight up.
Exactly, yes. If I look here, if you see this, wait a minute. Okay, I just have to change the color here a little bit. See, that's what I mean. We've had a typical consolidation also here. Especially you can see that when the Bollinger Bands get close together, this is generally a good time to wait for the break. We had it here as well, although this is a horrible one because actually on this bar, you broke below. You would have thought we were going down, but it did exactly the opposite. On the other hand, so far, this market was so far above the 200-day moving average, it was quite clear that the trend was going to probably remain on there to the upside.
Cap, that's a very interesting stock. It's at a very interesting time as well. It's awesome.
Absolutely. I've just got one more, Hunt, which I'd like to look at, which was one of the best performers in the S&P this week. Was GPS, that's Gap, that's apparel, US apparel store. Now this company sells apparel, but they had a lot of high street stores which they closed down, and they've become very strong in e-commerce. So this is also one of the best performers in the S&P on a 40-week period. It looks good. We've had like so many stocks recently. This was on Monday when we gapped up, but still the trend is still pretty good here. I would say this is also a stock which probably you can attempt to buy somewhere around the $18 or $19.
Look again, another stock that looks like steps. You know, you have that little tick up.
Yes,
and then
exactly. Yes, exactly. Here you've had this a situation where nothing's going on, and it consolidates. And you've got the narrow Bollinger Bands. You could just you can see what happens. It's wonderful break, up you go.
Mm-hmm.
So I suppose now it's time to be patient on a lot of these stocks because we've had dramatic moves up recently, this last week. So things will probably calm down for a while before we have a buying opportunity, I would say.
Yep, looks like it. That's, Gap looks like a very strong stock. Let's see. Doesn't look like we have any other from the audience. Do you have any other ones that you want to look at, Tim?
I've just got one other. I'll make this the last one, but it's one of my favorites for a long time. This is Align Technology. This company makes dental alignment. So if you get your teeth knocked out in a fight, you can go to them and they'll square you up.
Wow.
Let's have a look. They've had immense success. They've had fantastic results this year. I just want to show you what's been going on here. Right. This is now 457. We've been up to 480, I believe, or over 500. This is a real success story. I mean, this company is not going to go away. We have a similar company in Switzerland, Straumann, which does also dental care, and they've been going up for years. So this is probably the stock. You've seen it's been massive breakout, had a massive breakout. So it's not quite the right time to get in now. But if you have another period of consolidation, I would say this company is going to continue with very positive results.
Yeah, that's a lot of movement for 1 year.
That's a lot of movement. Yeah, it's a lot of movement. They came up with fantastic results recently at the end of October. Really good. You can look at their fundamental data, but it looks really good to me. And they've got a big customer base. I think they have over 1 million customers in the States.
Wow.
We're having for dental alignment, people whose teeth need straightening out.
Yeah. Plus, it's it was an election year, so everybody was fighting anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, well, I think that's everything I've got covered here. These are a few stocks which came to my attention in the last week. So,
wonderful. Well, we definitely appreciate it. And those of you in the audience, Tim has an entire course that he's done with us and an entire add-on that he's done. And we've been lucky enough to work with him quite a bit. So if you want more information on the add-on or the entire course that he's done with us, please let us know. metastock.com/sales chat. Just ask about the elasticity system or ask about Tim. Also, Tim, if people want to learn more, what is the best way to get a hold of you?
You can contact me on the MetaStock Swiss site. We have a contact form, or on the email admin@MetaStock Swiss. Whatever it is, I've had a lot of people contact me recently about this elasticity system and custom indicators and so forth. So just I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, and quite a bit of information on the metastockswiss.ch website, so definitely go check that out. And of course, let us know if you have any questions. Tim, I know it's late there. It's probably, 11:30 there, so I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you taking the time this evening to hang out with us and
look
at some charts. And we'll can't wait to have you back again soon.
Okay, Hunter. Have a nice weekend. Huh?
Thank you. You as well, and everyone out there in the audience. It's for us in the States. It's been a hell of a week, couple of weeks actually. For those of you worldwide, it's been a hell of a year. So I hope that everyone out there is doing very, very well. I hope that these videos help, give you a good insight as to what happened this week and what to look for next week. If you haven't yet subscribed to the MetaStock YouTube channel, thanks for joining us this afternoon or evening or morning, wherever you're at. Stay safe out there, and as always, happy trading. See you.
Always. Have a nice week.